Fox is the best character in Melee. This is nearly undisputed aside from the odd spacey propagandist.
Honestly though, how does Fox ever beat Marth? If you think about it.
He's the most played character in every region, he has the best matchup spread in the game. However, he goes even against the two next most common characters, Marth and Falco. Now, two even matchups is an odd thing to complain about, and Fox certainly doesn't need a secondary to succeed. But if you want to maximize your competitive advantages, simply playing the best character in the game isn't enough. You also need a busted secondary, so I'm going to be laying out a few characters that might be worth considering as a Fox main. First, and most obviously, is Sheik. Sheik is often considered to be Marth's only true losing matchup, even if only slightly. Sheik arguably has the best punish on Marth in the game. Sheik enjoys consistent damage through edgeguards, juggles, and tech chases, whereas Marth typically has to make larger commitments while punishing Sheik. Players like Leffen and Plup have shown the effectiveness of using the duo at the top level, even if their activity is sporadic. But let's be real, through Sheik's thin veneer of ninja swagger and crazy combo game lies the undeniable truth. That is, Sheik is kinda lame. And sure, you can play her cool, but our best options involve grabbing your opponent to kill percent and repeatedly teleporting to ledge in order to bore your opponent. Why be like Leffen when you could be like Aklo? At first glance, Melee Link seems irredeemably bad. He's slow with a bad jump squat and a high startup. Not the type of character that typically does well against top tiers in this game. But if you look closer, his sword and projectiles give him the range to challenge Marth's by playing keep away and abusing crouch cancel. Aklo made a great video that goes into detail on how he uses Link to cover Marth for his Fox, and I recommend checking it out for more information on the matchup. For a while there wasn't really any good videos about Link on YouTube, but now there's this video by the best fucking Link player in the world. Pikachu is one of the few other characters sometimes cited to have a good matchup against Marth. Marth has a tough time punishing Pikachu's small frame and lightweight, and Pikachu's speed gives him the ability to make it through Marth's walling. Once Pikachu is in, he can easily set up an edgeguard and take a stock. Pikachu is one of the best characters into Marth because of his high speed and ability to exploit Marth's recovery. It makes a great secondary for any Fox player that still wants to play fast and aggressive. Sheik and Link and Pikachu are all great secondaries for Fox that cover Marth, but for his other worst matchup, Falco, you're better off just staying Fox. Fox is still one of Falco's hardest matchups. The only character top Falco players struggle with more than Fox or Marth is actually Yoshi.
What about Falco Yoshi? Falco Yoshi, Yoshi definitely wins.
Falco has a tough time dealing with double jump armor, as it protects Yoshi in neutral and helps him escape combos. With a combination of double jump armor and parry, Yoshi is great at limiting Falco's air-to-air and approach options. When Yoshi gets a hit, he's able to convert into big damage and strong edgeguards. According to Amza, aside from Falco, Yoshi also enjoys a winning matchup against Marth. Marth has a difficult time edgeguarding Yoshi through his double jump armor, and Yoshi's high weight means it isn't uncommon for Yoshi to live for high percents in this matchup. To make things worse, Yoshi edgeguards Marth well, making this a punishing matchup even if he does well in neutral. Being a bad matchup for both Marth and Falco is a feat no other character in Melee can claim. It's what makes Yoshi so strong as a secondary for Fox, providing utility you can't get from anywhere else. A Fox main with a Yoshi secondary is the optimal character choice. There's one more idea I want to throw out there, and that's a secondary Marth. Marth does quite well into Falco, even better than Fox, but the concept I want to focus on is forcing the Marth Ditto. The Marth Ditto is very weird. Marth both juggles and edgeguards himself hard, but can otherwise often struggle to close the stock. This leads to an explosive matchup that rewards knowledge of niche confirms or setups. It can be used to put your opponent on the back foot, forcing a truly even match. And let's be real, beating your opponent with their own character is just about the coolest thing you can do in Melee. Obviously, people's opinions on matchups vary. Some people will say that these are all even matchups. Some people will say that Fox does better in all these matchups. Some people might say the Sheik Marth matchup is overrated. As far as I know, Aklo still thinks that Link is actually worse against Marth than Fox is, at least in theory, but in practice, Marth players just aren't as well practiced against Link. And I know that Axe used to think that maybe Pika won or it was even, but now that Marth players are getting better at edge guarding at the top level, it's looking more and more like a losing matchup. But it's all subjective, and I think these characters have what it takes to provide you some cover as a Fox main in some of these more difficult matchups. And I do think that Yoshi Fox is the optimal character choice. It's a difficult character choice to maintain. You know, in some ways Fox is really easy, but in other ways Fox is pretty high APM and stuff. And that is not something that you really want when you also have to be playing Yoshi. But, on the other hand, something being harder doesn't make it any less good, and just because it's hard doesn't mean you shouldn't go for it. If it's good enough to, like, make it worthwhile, then yeah. And there is real reward in maining Fox with a secondary Yoshi for Marth and Falco. Depending on how optimistic you are about Yoshi, and the best Yoshi player in the world thinks this stuff, even just having the winning Marth matchup is such a huge thing that so few characters have. I don't know, there's very few characters that have that winning Marth matchup, and there isn't a character that goes into Falco as well as Yoshi does. It was nice to do another Melee video. I think I'll probably just keep mixing it up between Melee and Ultimate. Next video will probably be an Ultimate video, but I don't know, we'll see.